So hello everybody, welcome back. I hope that you like this video and that you find it helpful somehow. So grab your coffee, and if you wanted to share one with me while you're at it, links for that down below. And here we go with the information. So there is a series of ideas in which how society works is tested throughout time. And the problem with this is that history has a tendency to repeat itself, and there is almost no records that are written by the people that are in pain and people that have lost the battles, and also the slaves. And this also means that the information about how you fell into a trap is no longer available to the people that is left behind. So sometimes it can go from 2, 3, 4, or 5 generations. And then this problem that we had in a very small scale, because there was lack of communication at the time or whatever reason, mostly because education is not being done properly or managed properly. And we have a lot of things that we need to understand. And one of them is the city that is supposed to be 15 minutes. So I have a confession to make, and this is because I'm biased here. So oh yeah, I'm biased. So the information that I'm giving you is going to be favorable to the good intention and the idea. Therefore, since I know I'm biased, as in since I know I have good intentions, then I understand almost immediately by nature that it's going to be a road down to hell. Oh my God, seriously, it's going to be a road down to hell. The reason being, every time that you have good intentions, you accidentally, you overdo it in terms of your emotions. As in, you get excited, you get hopeful, you get powerful. You feel that you're God, and you feel that you can do this whole thing without having consequences. And life doesn't work like that. Every time that you do something, you get a consequence. And the problem is that you are thinking, or at least, when you're hopeful, you're thinking that everybody else is nice, just like you are being nice right now. And the problem is that things don't work like that. Just because you're nice, that does not mean that everybody else is going to be nice. And even if you're nice, you might be doing it with the hope, with the expectation that things are going to turn out fine, because since you are giving this type of treatment, you will receive that type of treatment, and things don't work like that, because you cannot interfere in other people's free will. So whenever you are nice, if you are not doing it because you want to be nice, and because it's something that you do without any kind of expectation, then just this whole thing is going down to hell. And I'm talking about the cities, the smart cities, as in the cities that are designed to be walkable. So several things here. in times in which you have war, there are a lot of refugees. And refugees usually have too many problems that they bring along. One of them being that, they speak a different language. So even if you wanted to hire them, because, let's say that you need a gardener, and this guy is the best gardener in the planet. The problem is that he speaks another language, so you can't get along with them because they speak another language. So number one, language might be a problem. It's a huge problem, especially in times in which you don't have computers or internet or whatever, and you need someone who is very specialized. Like it has been years for someone to study another language so that you can try to hire them and then get international relations. Okay. This is a problem because right now you're thinking, yeah, but everybody speaks English and Spanish or this and that language or that and this language. No, it doesn't work like that. And the reason being that, 200 years ago, traveling was only for the elite. And not only that, but education was also only for the elite. So not everybody understood languages and not everybody understood a lot of things. Then wars or displacements due to natural disasters like flood and all of these things also brought the problem about employment. Because when you are in a city and the city is stable in terms of employment, as in it has anything from 3 to 5% unemployment, that is the best thing that, the best aim that you can get in terms of economical, measurements. And you having an influx of, let's say 2% of the population. 2% of the population means that the unemployment went from 5 to 7%. If you have 7%, it's a huge number. Especially think about this. Even if you have the best statistical part, you still are talking about huge numbers. So, for example, let's say that you have 3% of unemployment in the United States versus 3% of unemployment in China. If you have 3% of unemployment in the United States that have 200 million people or 300 million people, it's just, maybe 10 million people. It's not even big. But if you have that in China, that means that you have 90 million or 100 million people. The number is just insane. And so, the numbers sometimes don't match up the statistics because you have to have something called economies of scales to work this out. And so, when you have refugees from other people, other places, even let's say that you are even within the United States, let's say that you have a problem in Florida, and then the state next to Florida had a huge problem, and now everybody's floating towards Florida. Floridians, even though that they are dealing with Americans, they will be angry if people from the next state are coming there and they are creating huge problems in terms of unemployment. And in terms of also infrastructure, because the problem that we have as planners, city planners and everything, is that we plan according to the growth of the population. And the growth of the population is something that sometimes is extremely difficult to manage. And also we have lack of political involvement. People that need to plan for the city, they are politicians. So if I'm a politician and I need to get re-elected 5 years from now, then my goals are going to be now to 5 years from now. That's it. They are not going to be for 25 years from now, which is most of the infrastructure problems are 25 years from now. I'm not going to pave the road so that, politicians from 25 years from now will take credit for it. Most people will think like this as a politician because they are competition. People who will behind you, they are competition. And so you do not want to leave the road paved for them because of that thought. And therefore, infrastructure in cities is not meant to survive 25 years or something like this. And if you have a growth in the population that is 2 or 3% even bigger than before, that can put so much pressure in terms of water access, electricity access, health services access, and a lot of services that are already overwhelmed because of the problems with the politicians. And so this whole thing creates such a big drama in which people don't even get out of their houses anymore because they're kind of like, I don't want to be, meeting people who are naked or are begging in the street, or people who are, looking horrible with kids. And it's like, I can't even get out of my house. And there is a lot of things that will happen like this. And so these people who are refugees will come to, the parts that are the poorest of the poorest, because of course rich people will protect their areas and they will be kind of like, my neighborhood, no way we're getting anyone homeless here. And they will have, even private security, or since they pay higher taxes, then they will have bigger power in terms of politicians and things like this. And therefore, now that I know that, we are going to have more people in the suburbs, or more people in the slums, or whatever it is, then I'm going to reinforce security, which means that I am spending even more resources than before, because now I require more electricity for the security cameras, and I require more water because now I'm hiring more people and things like this, which means that the rich are going to take even more of their resources because of this. And therefore, the poor people that used to have 50 resources, now they're going to have 45 or maybe 40. That means that the impact of 2% in the population, or 1% of the population, can be measured by 3 or 4 or sometimes 5%, in terms of numbers. The reason being, like I said, because it's not just you moving more people to the city, but it's also moving the resources, because people will act accordingly, and the rich people will try to protect themselves. And so this is a mess. And people don't know how to deal with this. Really, it's just nobody knows how to deal with this. Because how do you deal with refugees? I mean, it's not like you have a plan, as in, let's say that you already have problems in your house, and all of a sudden your family decides to move in with you, and you have no choice because it's your family. And then you're like, yeah, now we're sharing rooms. And then you're like, what? I don't want to share rooms. So what do we do? Well, let's ask for more money so that we can build another room outside of the house, or something like this. And oh my God, it's insane. The whole situation that you will have to go through is insane. So try to imagine this huge situation that you're talking about, one family, now multiplied by all of the families in a particular area. So the solution implemented by the rich was, okay, so let's do this. Let's just get a land that is worth very little. Let's just, have them like with one plumbing system, and let the refugees work things out through themselves. And then let's just build walls put in this area and put all the refugees there, like if it was a cage. And then that's what they did. And then it was called a ghetto. So what does that mean? Well, it means that, if you were Jewish, if you were from any kind of minority, if you looked funny or whatever it was, then you had to go and live there so that you don't interrupt the city process. It's kind of like you isolate all the people that is going to be becoming a refugee. And so at this point, the people from the refugee camps, which are not refugees, they are just building this thing, some of them will have so much knowledge and so much, because they are people, and therefore some of them will be so good at making money, making deals, and working and all of these things. So you will see that within these areas called ghettos, you will have like big mansions. However, even though you are living in your own mansion and you're doing everything, you cannot leave this city. So let me explain this. The ghettos worked kind of like this. There was a small city within the huge city, and in this small, very, very, very tiny area, there were walls all over. You couldn't move more than 15 minutes walking. So, in a big city, you probably had to walk like an hour or maybe 2. But now it's 15 minutes. That means that the distance is very, very, very short. It's going to be very cramped in there. And since you're a refugee, or since you live in this area and other people from other area, as in the elite, they don't want you there because they don't want you looking around in their mansions or whatever, because they have all the land outside and they don't want you there. So if you want to get out of there, you had to go with the guards, ask permission for the guards, tell them where you wanted to get out, and if not, then you will be either killed or even thrown into jail. And the jail is not even outside, the jail is what's inside the whole thing. So you want to get out, then you're going to go to jail inside the whole place that you're in. So basically, you just went in from living, free in your own country or whatever it was, and now you are in a cage, and you're thinking that is better than the one that you left, because let's say that you were living because you had fires, flood, war, and all kinds of things, and you were even poor before. So now you're going to be in this ghetto, and in this ghetto things are better because you are protected from fire, flood, or whatever, because there are walls all over. So you're thinking, I'm going to be safe here. So your thinking, your emotional, your immunological process went from I'm free, but I can be harmed and is not safe and it's horrible, to being in a contained space in which now you're kind of like, okay, I'm safe. It's horrible, yes, but I'm safe. Because outside there is fire, flood, wars, and all kinds of things. Yes, the problem is that outside is where actually life happens. Outside is where the actual elites are. Outside is where you can do traveling and growing. Outside is where you have choices. Outside is where you can actually see the world and explore and all of these things. But safety is not guaranteed, not even for the elites. So if you're thinking that safety is going to be guaranteed just because you're inside the ghetto, yeah, like I said, safety is not even guaranteed for the elites. And they have a hell of a lot of more money than you. And they have a lot of more resources than you. And they have a lot of everything more than you. And they can't have safety guaranteed. But you are thinking wrongly. By the way, at this point I can tell you that the process is female. The female part. The reason being, you are fleeing from one place to another one. Every time that you are running away from a problem is because you are female. See, you can't face the problem. If you were to be a male, you will face the problem and fix it. But if you can't face it because it's too big or anything like that, do retreat. If you retreat but you have a plan to come back, that is male. Males do not, males do not stop and they get what they want. They are successful 100% of the time. There is no way that you're going to be missing if you are a guy. And so the females, however, do not. Let's say that you were in a war. Now you're running away because you have the kids, and you are running because you're a woman. There is no way that you're going to fight, lords that have a lot of weapons and things like this. And therefore you are freaking out and you're scared and you need protection. So anyone, and I do mean anyone that says, I'm saving you, you will cling to them, and your hormones and your whole way of thinking will go directly towards the loyalty to that. So these cities, which are supposed to be smart and they are supposed to be 15-minute walks and everything like that, they are female, and therefore they are, delusional. Because I have told you before, like 1,000 times over, every time that you're dealing with females, you're dealing with craziness, and you are, which is the bright part, and then you're also dealing with the mentally ill part, which is delusion. That's the reason why females are so amazing. It is our best quality, and it is the single worst quality of women. Is the part about being delusional. Because that way, you can create miracles and you can do a lot of things that men cannot do, because men are kind of like, this is reality, we're fighting, that's it, we're done. Females are going to be kind of like, yeah, we can run, we can rebuild, we can do this, we can do that, we can negotiate, we can have another life, we can make this happen, we can, a lot of other things. Women will see things in a 40,000 ways. The problem is that women will feel attached to whatever being offers safety. And the problem is that strong men are not those that will flee a place. Strong men just don't. Strong men, they will set their grounds. They will deal with rejection. They will deal with anger. They will lead, and they will not give up. However, since you have gone this way, you have lost your language. That means that, every time that you have a new city like this, a smart city, you will have a new kind of language. If you have a new kind of language, then you have a new entire thought process that is not the one that you used to have before. And then now you have boundaries that are meant to keep you in. They are not meant to save you. They are meant to contain you and to control you. Because the elites do not want you taking anything from them. And in fact, they will try to take anything from you, even though that you are poor and you are horrible and you're a slave or whatever. They will try to take more from you, just like the city design. And so, if you're thinking that you have a very better life just because you have a smart city with you or whatever like that, you are so going to be screwed. Because it is not... every time that you have a city, you need both male and energy, male energy, and you also need female energy. You need the female in terms of nurturing and things like this, but you also need the male part, the part about the city that says, these are the rules that we're enforcing. And male energy is also about fairness. So I have several questions when you go into a ghetto or you go into a smart city. Why do you need permission to live or be in or out? Why? Is that fair? I mean, come on. You're offering me a place to stay, okay. But I want to work another place. If I want to work in a place that is an hour away from my ghetto, then what's wrong with that? I am improving myself. I learned the other language. I can do it. And then the elites go, yeah, but nobody else can do it. Yeah, but that's not the point. The point is that it should be fair. This means you need to give people the chance to improve themselves. And you cannot assume that everybody else is nice or everybody else is just evil. Because people are not nice 100% of the time. And they are also not evil 100% of the time. But you do need to give them chances. And things like this. And at this point, most women, the female energy of the ghetto or the idea is that these people need protection. Yes, the people need protection. So what are you going to do? No, we are just going to provide everything for them. Yeah, I'm sorry. Again, females. It's kind of like when you have a parent, you have both parents teaching a 5-year-old. The woman will always be kind of like, there is a reason why moms, they suck in a lot of things. And there is a reason why we need dads. Because a woman is going to be kind of like, oh my God, you need to eat. But mom, I don't want to. Oh, mom, I really don't want to. I want to sleep more. Oh, come on, you gotta get up to go to school. But mom, I'm so tired, I'm sick, and I don't do. Yeah. And then you go and call the school and say, oh, my kid cannot go there. Yeah. If there was a dad, the dad will go, can you check it? Yeah. Is it this, does the kid have a fever or something? No? Okay, then let him go. No, I don't care. Let him go to class. No, he has to face his challenges. He has to grow. He has to do this and this and that. So the guy is the one that will provide the strength to make things happen. He's the one that is going to be the jerk because he's the one that is going to tell the kid, yeah, I don't care if you're feeling sick, you gotta get up and go to school. Kind of like that. So the guy is a jerk. Yeah, I don't care, but he being the jerk is the best thing that could possibly happen. And there is a reason why that is the single best energy that men have. It's also the worst, but it's also the best, just like women. So, you have cities that are completely out of whack and they are delusional. If you have a city that is delusional, you will have all kinds of mentally ill things. That means that in these places, you will have people that will think that they own the world just because they can buy a mansion in a ghetto. Even though that if they went outside of the ghetto, they will not survive one day. And they will think that life is limited to the ghetto, which is not. They will also think that the only way that people can be is the way that they are within the ghetto. And that is just not truth. So, why are we doing this? See, several years ago, and I have been trying to go to a place called Solari City. This place is in the United States. And I think, quite frankly, that place, oh my God, seriously, I think if there was a heaven on this planet, it will probably be there. Seriously, it will probably be there. In fact, if you have an internship or you can work within this city, you are going to be hired in any, and I don't mean any international company, because they will consider you to be the best in everything. Just because you were able to get to that place. It's kind of like, how you have a thing that says, if you go to Harvard, you will get everything. Well, kind of like that in terms of university or something like this, or it used to be like that anyway. I don't know if it is like that right now, but it used to be like that. Well, kind of like this. This Solari City is the single best designed and everything for you to make a living. Because in this city, you will have to work and make things sustainable. You will have to understand, society and a lot of things. And the good news is that because it is within the United States and because it is a free city, that means that as long as you can pay for the place to stay, then that's it. That's all you need. You can go and return, and you can go and return, and you have free traffic. In the smart city, you do not have free traffic. That is the difference. So most people that will go to a place like Solari or even a smart city will go there mostly because they want to feel the community and all of these things, and that is okay. The problem is you becoming an elephant. You know how elephants, when they are born, they are free and they want to roam and everything. But if you chain the elephant to a tree, then it will try to escape like the first 5 times. But after that, they will not escape. So now, even if you take the chain away, the elephant will not run. Reason being, they gave up. Reason being, their brain told them that there is no life besides you being next to the tree. Sorry, I got interrupted like 1,000 times. So anyway, like I was saying to you, the elephant will not think that there is life other than near the tree. And we are humans. And we are not meant to be confined. We are meant to explore. We are meant to, we are meant to have community and all of these things. But there is a reason why the single best and worst characteristics of human beings is that we have free will. If somebody takes away that free will, even if it is yourself, because you accidentally changed your brain pattern and you accidentally changed your immunological process and you accidentally just settled and decided to play safe rather than be yourself and all of these things, then, I don't know what else to tell you. The point is that even within these cities, you will still have crime, you will still have issues, you will still have to face, whatever it is that you will have to face outside. But outside, you will have choices, you will have more opportunities, and you will have better timing and better almost everything. And there is a reason why the elites don't get into ghettos. They actually get into open places. So, what makes you think that you want to settle, even though that it just gets a sensation of safety? But are you actually getting safety? Are you actually getting more sustainability and all of these things like they are getting in Solaris cities? I mean, if you were going to get something like that, then I'm up for it, because you're free and yet you're achieving what you wanted. Because you are both male and female, it's a fairness thing. But as soon as you have to you have to ask permission, you have to do paperwork, you must comply with a lot of things, and you're also going to be under surveillance all the time and things like this, then you just became a slave. And you traded that for what? Exactly what are you getting in return? Because whatever you're getting in return is the things that you're going to leave to your kids. And that is why I'm telling you that we are accidentally doing this in mass scale, and we are accidentally creating hell for our kids. Our kids are going to grow up thinking that there is nothing more, or that everything is done. This is going to increase the suicide rates like insane. And this is also going to increase the weakness in both male and females. But especially females, by the way. And so, I don't know how is it that people, don't make a little bit of effort in terms of understanding philosophy and history, so that we can, sustain whatever our ancestors had to go through and lost a lot of things so that we could get. The reason why we can enjoy freedom and a lot of things is because our ancestors had to go through hell. So why are we making our kids go through hell when it's just not necessary? We could have just learned. But I guess that pain hasn't done its job properly, so... But since pain is an extremely awesome teacher, and pain is the best teacher ever, this teacher is never going to let us go until we learn the lesson. So the question is, how many lessons do we need? And how far is a teacher willing to go?